So very fine, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
This event never ceases to amaze me. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger every single month.
It's such a sharp contrast from last month where I was laughing so hard I thought my gut was going to split.
Completely amazing. It threw me off a little bit because I was not expecting it to be so powerful.
Every emotion and joy and laughter and hope.
How can you laugh, cry, bend over fetal position all at the same time and have an amazing experience?
It wasn't all moving that way. The turtles were a lot of fun, but it was just a really moving day.
I think it's wonderful and it's life affirming and it helps in the artistic process, I think, a great deal by having that many people on your side. There's a synergy here that you can't get in a room hunched over a word processor. This is a great, great organization. I'm really proud to have been here. This book is called Shell Shocked, as Vicki said. It's kind of a history of my life, the turtles, the mothers of invention, and afterward, and all the things that we've done in between. But the book kicks off with this. I was snorting coke on Abraham Lincoln's desk in the White House. Well, I was. Yeah.
For the rest of my life, when I think back on the moments that were special, singing Happy Together with Howard Kaylan of the Turtles is going to go down as one of the coolest things that I have ever done.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you and me.
Every woman in the room knew every word to the song, whether they were my 25-year-old assistant or, you know, a woman sitting there 65 years old. Everybody knew every word to Happy Together, and it was just fantastic. And Eric Schwartz came and played and accompanied Howard.
Now that we're in the twilight of our days as Howard and the Roach Clips, apparently is what we're called, I can say it was a great band. We never got stoned once together. We never fought. We got no record company disputes. We got together, we made music, we broke up, and yet we left the door open. At least I left the door open.
Topher Alice, who was amazing on the cajon.
Christopher Alice, Topher Alice is here to play the box.
What is it called?
Cajon.
The cajon.
Yeah. Those are balls.
Those are cajones.
Cajones is different than cajon.
I've got both. I've got a box and balls. You know, it went from being fun to Amy being just adorable and funny, and she's a brilliant writer. It was, her reading was, the writing was crazy making. It was so wonderful.
I think one of the things about Vicki is that she breaks all the rules. And not only did she break them, she doesn't believe in them. And that's the key to everything right now, because we're in an incredibly changing landscape every minute of the day. And if anyone says to you, you can't get married after 30 and you can't get a job after 42, you have to not believe them. The weird thing about Loose Diamonds is it skitters around life from kind of childhood to later in life. And it's had a really strange little life, this book, but I'm very fond of it. And I'm going to read a really weird piece because I'm in a really weird mood. Hi, I'm Amy and I'm psychic. Everyone else in the room responds in unison. Hi, Amy. Hi, Amy. Alan, my present husband, doesn't believe in psychic phenomena or coincidence for that matter, but he's a lawyer, so he doesn't think I had anything to do with the thing that happened to the terrible people who live next door. And I don't want to encourage anyone to go down a dangerous path as seductive as it is. Alan's disbelief is part of what helps me stay straight. He's whatever the opposite of an enabler would be, and I'm blessed to have him in my life. And I have to admit, I'm much happier since I quit. I'm less frightened, less anxious, less certain of my own omnipotence, which is always a good thing. The first step to sobriety is recognizing that you have a problem. I'm psychic, and all I can do is take it one day at a time.
You know, when Vicki
Vicki delivers parts of her book. She delivers it as an actress would. It's a reading for her. It's not just reading her book.
You know, I hang on every word of Vicki's story, and I've been hearing it for years now, and I'm so involved with the characters.
I've been here for every installment, and I'm so wrapped up now in the life of Andy and Lenny.
I never believed marijuana was addictive, but boy, when I tried to kick it, and I tried a lot. Life had been pretty idyllic for a long time. I loved to smoke, and I laughed a lot during those years. For Lenny, it was his 5 o'clock cocktail, only he had it at 8. For me, it was all or nothing. As soon as the kids were in school, I worked out, and then my day of consumption began. A few hits there, a couple of tokes here, jonesing in between. As controlled and anal as I was about everything, and I do mean everything, pot was the one exception. It controlled me, and I hated myself for it. It was one thing when it was just the two of us, but I felt like such a phony once we were parents. By all appearances, I had it so together. Growing up with a working mom, we were always running out of toilet paper, substituting paper towels, napkins, whatever was around. The cupboards and refrigerator were almost always bare, just the necessities of the day on hand. To compensate or overcompensate, no one in my home ever wanted for anything. There were backups for my backups. Lenny and I owned our apartment, had money in the bank, and no debt. We had 2 terrific kids. He had a dream job and was well-liked and respected. I volunteered almost full-time fundraising for the kids' public school. Our apartment was immaculate, thanks to an undiagnosed case of OCD. Mental illness can serve a purpose. The kids had a loving and structured life. I was organized to a fault with play dates, homework, bills, paperwork, errands, and almost any responsibility, except living in reality. Beneath the facade of functionality, I felt shamefully guilty. Mommies aren't supposed to be stoned. Period.
And today's chapter about her coming to terms with her addiction and coming to terms with all that that meant for her family and for herself and for her history and for her future. She is every bit the consummate actress. And I think to not do something with that talent would be a crime. A major, major crime.
I'm so amazed each time I come here at how I'm moved. I'm laughing and then I'm crying, I'm moved. This was spectacular today.
I had no idea a person was so many things, that her abduction from my life would leave such voids. It's not hearing her voice. It's not smelling her hair. It's not seeing her things in new arrangements in her closet or on her nightstand. It's not seeing her car move for months. It's not seeing her favorite foods diminish in the refrigerator or pantry. It's not being called on my various omissions or commissions. It's realizing that it doesn't matter anymore if the sheets are tight and wrinkle-free on the bed, that no one leaves the cap off the toothpaste, that no one says, "What's wrong?" if I don't speak for half an hour, that no one's reading all those catalogs that keep coming in the mail. It's realizing that this is forever and still not believing it. It's knowing I could pour a bucket of purple paint over the stair rail into the hallway below and nobody would be upset. It's knowing I could bring home 10 dozen red roses and a string quartet and nobody would be happy. It's hard and it's relentless and it's got more facets than a crate full of engagement rings. And every time I just know that I've plumbed the final depths of it, I find some new trench. All I can say is if you have someone you can share with, someone who cares about your life and wants to be involved in it in some way, anyway, then share, 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 share. If a day comes when you've got no one to share that day with, nor the next, that's when you will know what you don't want to know. That even the best life can be hollowed out in a moment, or in a week, or in 4 months. One may be the loneliest number, but there's an equation that's lonelier still. 2 minus 1 equals 1. Somebody ought to come up with a new way of doing math.
It was hard for me to listen to Jim tell his story because I identify so much with those feelings of loss from losing my father. I haven't cried like that in a while, and I really needed it, and I went outside and I told my dad I missed him. For some people, they could have came and that could have just been an incredibly touching performance, but for me it was like I had to hear that today, you know?
The depth of his emotion and the his articulation of his experience was profound. What his loss was, and that only made sense because first he clued us into what the gain was, what the relationship was, what the fullness and the richness and the wholeness of it was. I had to get a Women Who Write tissue box and pass it around because we were all crying.
And it's another great time at Women Who Write.
Did you get
Everybody should come to this. If this could be exponentially multiplied through eternity upwards, that's how many people should be in this room.
I'm so surprised that this is not on a show. I mean, this is something that I personally would watch on like the V Network, or I would watch the show.
You know what? For a place that is all about words, I have really no words to say. It's that good.
You know, this is just, it's become like part of the fabric of my life. I love it.
So thanks, Vicki. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
Well, Vicki, if I'm not mistaken, is incredibly ugly, terribly overweight. She's not that bright of a person. And overall, I'm trying to find a way of killing her without being caught.
One more. Help me now if you know this one.
Some girls like to run around, like to handle everything they see. But my girl, she has to run around, and you know she'd rather be with me. Me, oh my, loving guy is what I am. Tell you why, you'll understand. She don't lie, although she can. Some boys like to run around, they don't think about the things they do. This boy, he wants to settle down. You know we'd rather be with you. Me, oh my, lucky guy is what I am. Tell you why, you'll understand. She don't lie, although she can. It's a bypass. You know she'd rather be with me. Thank you.
Did we just do that? I mean, we have video to prove it, but this is like hard to fathom that just happened.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together.